Hello, my name is Karen Gondoli and I am the CEO of LeoStream. Today I want to talk to you about how our vendor privileged access management solution really makes it simple for you to onboard and offboard vendors who need to have access to your corporate resources. Now, why is this important? Why is this hard? Many of your vendors, they need maybe root access to a Linux operating system in order to provide updates, or maybe they need administrative access to one of your databases. You need to provide privileged access for these vendors to pretty sensitive information and systems, and doing that manually takes a long time. If you need to integrate them into your corporate systems, if you need to hand out credentials, that's just bad from a security standpoint, and it's complicated for IT. And then it becomes even worse when the vendor's done with their job. Maybe you've switched vendors, different database admins, what have you. If you need to offboard that vendor and you aren't sure, maybe you didn't have a good vendor tracking spreadsheet, so you aren't sure what credentials they had access to. Well, how are you going to know what you need to rotate? This just becomes a larger and larger nightmare as you have more and more vendors come and help out your organization, which is something we're seeing. A lot of people are using fractional CISOs or accountants, and you want to make sure that they have the access they need, but that it's easy for you to offboard them when you're not using them anymore. So what do we provide with LeoStream VPAM that makes this easy? Well, I'll show you in a demo here in a second. You will create an account for your vendor in the LeoStream VPAM portal, and then they can have access to whatever they need, whatever servers, whatever systems, and all they'll use is their one VPAM account in LeoStream to log in, and then they'll get access to everything they need, but they'll never have the passwords for those. You don't have to work them into your VPN. So now you have a very simple way to offboard them. It's just this one account. It's also very simple to onboard them because our connections, as you'll see, they're browser-based. So you don't have to worry about making sure the vendor installs software on their systems. Because it's browser-based, that also means you don't have to worry about the users grabbing things off, being able to download files, for example, from the systems that they've connected to. And all of this, the access that they get and the amount of time that they're allowed to connect to things, it's all controlled by role and project-based policies that you'll set up within the LeoStream VPAM system itself. And at the end, what we do when the user is connected, your vendor is connected, we're recording that session from the very beginning. So you always have this audit level tracking of everything that's going on your systems when your vendors connect. So that makes onboarding easy. It makes the vendor's life super simple. And now what happens again when you don't use that vendor anymore? Well, just disable their LeoStream VPAM account and they will immediately no longer have access to the systems that they once had access to. Super simple. They had never had the credentials for the systems, your corporate systems that they were logging into, so they can't have put them on a sticky note somewhere or written them down somewhere. Those credentials never left your organization. So really just this one account in LeoStream VPAM, you disable it, it's done. But you still have the audit history. So anything that vendor has done, you've got it in your hands for compliance moving forward. So to kind of sum it up, what does LeoStream VPAM give you? Well, it's this zero trust access for all of your vendors managed from this single LeoStream VPAM interface. Makes it very fast for you to do the onboarding, really quick, safe, and secure for you to do their offboarding in a way that doesn't overburden your probably already overburdened IT staff. But of course, as I mentioned, you have these audit trails for compliance and cyber insurance purposes. So to show you a little bit about what this looks like, I'm going to come in here purposefully to my little incognito tab here and log into my demo. So here I'm logging into my demo account. Now I'm going to log in as myself. I am the LeoStream customer. LeoStream's using our own service here. And what I have actually done is integrated my LeoStream VPAM account with Microsoft Entra ID. So I'm going to click log in with Entra ID, and then it's going to ask me for my email address. And this now I'm using my Entra login. So I'm going to end up logged into the LeoStream VPAM solution, but it's going to be through my Entra ID, which I'm grabbing the password up here on the other screen. Yes, that was the password. And then I'm going to have to do my MFA token. Again, all of this is managed by Entra. And then, boom, I get logged in. So here I am logged in as an administrator for my account. Onboarding vendors, there's some setup obviously before you start onboarding your vendors. You're going to install some LeoStream gateways to do the VPN list connections. And then all you need to do is very quickly come in here and add the vendor. This is the company that is going to be managed in the LeoStream VPAM account. Indicate which of your users is the approver for their requests. And then you're going to say what systems do those vendors have access to. And that's kind of the initial setup. And then once you're talking about the employees at these vendor companies, that's when it gets really simple. Because a lot of times you have a broker, or well, this is what I'm managing a Linux connection here to our broker, or you have a database server. Your connections often don't change. What will change will be the vendor, potentially, that is managing it. So you've got some setup here, and then that's kind of just going to be their setup for the future. And then you can start sending invitations to the staff that's at your vendors. And that's very simple. I just come in, I type in their email address. I can type in multiple here. So if you have, just create yourself a CSV file of all the vendors, all the staff at a particular vendor, and then you just copy paste it in here and you can send all these out at once. So I can very quickly send invitations to a number of vendors to onboard. You'll notice, so what this would do if I send this invitation out, it's going to send the vendor, these people, a link that says, hey, you've been invited to join this Karen Demo VPAM account. They're going to click the link. They're going to finish initializing their account. That's going to be username, password, MFA via Google or Duo. You could, if you prefer, actually wrap your vendors into your corporate identity provider, such as Entra ID, by clicking this box here. So you actually have these two different ways to onboard your vendors. You can allow them to create accounts directly within your VPAM account, or you can create their account within your corporate identity provider, Entra ID. That still means there's a single vendor account that you will ultimately deprovision to cancel all of that vendor's access. So very easy to onboard. Once you have your vendor's stuff registered, you notice I have two. I have Milo here is registered as a vendor. Mabel's also registered as a vendor. Now, if one of them, again, leaves that organization, all I have to do is come in here and click delete. And now everything about that vendor is gone, except for the audit level logging, which you have here. You'll still have the recordings of everything that they've done, and you'll still have the history of the actions that they've taken when they've submitted requests, all of that kind of good stuff. So again, very, very simple to create and offboard vendors without sharing any kind of privileged credentials and without setting up a VPN. If you would like to learn more, you can contact us at sales@leostream.com. Thank you.